Your teenager believes you love them and home is safe. That belief is the floor under everything. You can crack that floor in a single sentence. You never call it cruel. That is exactly why it does the most damage. The worst wound is the one they never mention. The verdict was overheard, so they believe it. If the overheard word is the one they believe, then here's the part that they should give you hope. Here's something your teenager believes without ever thinking about it. That you love them. That home is the safe place. That whatever happens out there, in here, they are on solid ground. That belief is the floor under their whole life. It's the thing that lets them walk out into a hard world every morning and come back every night. And you can crack that floor in a single sentence. One you'll have forgotten by morning, but they will remember it for the rest of their life. But before we get into what you say, one thing you need to hold the whole way through this episode, because it's the thing that makes all of it matter. When your kid hears you say the sharp thing about them, they almost never tell you. There's no fight, no slammed door, no, I heard that, mom. They just go quiet and file it and carry it. And you go on not knowing. You keep loving them, keep building them up to their face, and never once find out that the sentence you forgot by dinner is now the thing they believe you actually think. They hurt you. They won't tell you. And you spend years not knowing it's doing its work. Hold that shadow over everything that comes next. Every mistake we are about to name, every ring leads to the same silent place. Watch for it. Let's start with the trap, because everyone falls into it. The house feels private. He's upstairs, she's asleep, the headphones are on, she's not even home yet. So you let your guard down. You say the real thing, the tired thing, the thing you never say to their face. And here's what makes it worse. You are not talking past a neutral listener. Adolescence requires a kid to scan for exactly this. Their brain is biologically primed for social threat and rejection, hyper-vigilant to every casual read you make of them. So the sentence you'd forget by dinner lands on a nervous system built to catch it and hold on. And the walls are thinner than you think. Kids move quietly. They come home early. They stand at the top of the stairs and don't come down. The headphones aren't always playing anything. The one place you think nobody's listening is the one place someone always is. The one room you think is empty. There's a kid in it, halfway down the stairs, not moving. Hearing the version of themselves you say when you think the room is empty. The first ring is telling the word. It starts small and outward. The phone call to your sister. The vent at the school gate. She's impossible lately. He's so lazy, I can't get him off that screen. You won't believe what she said. You won't believe what she did. To you, it's 5 minutes. You've forgotten it by dinner. But you are not just letting off steam. You are teaching everyone listening to see your kid the way you just described them. And if your kid catches it, they don't forget it by dinner. They file it. And they'll never tell you they heard. They heard you, but they won't tell you. That's the mild version, the outer ring. The real damage lives closer in. So now we are getting to the second ring. Telling each other, two parents, the dinner table, or later after you think they've gone to bed, comparing notes on your day. And the day includes your child as a problem to be worked out. She's just not a logical kid. He's lazy. Gets it from your side. At least the older one never gave us this trouble. And here's the thing. It doesn't feel like bad mouthing. It feels like coordinating, being realistic. Two tired adults comparing notes on a hard kid. You never call it cruel. That is exactly why it does the most damage. Because a kid can dismiss one parent in a bad mood. What they cannot dismiss is both of you agreeing. When mom and dad both say it in the kitchen where they think no one's there, it stops being an opinion. It becomes the verdict, the official record. And there's no appeal because the whole court already agrees. And listen to the words themselves: lazy, no brain for logic. Those aren't complaints about the bad day. They are life sentences. You are not saying she didn't study tonight. You're saying she is a person who doesn't study. You didn't describe what they did. You decided who they are, and they heard the ruling. And they will never tell you they heard. You'll go on complimenting them to their face and never know it doesn't land. Now, none of this means you are not allowed to process the load. Raising a hard kid is generally exhausting, and you need a place to put that weight down with the other person carrying it. That's real, that's necessary, and we'll come back to where that conversation belongs. The point here is that you talked. It's that the talking hardened into a verdict in a room you thought was empty. The third ring is telling what they asked you to keep. Your kid took a risk. They messed something up, or they told you something tender, and they chose you, one parent. They said the hard thing out loud, and they asked you, don't tell dad, don't tell mom. And you told. And they heard you tell. What your kid learns in that moment isn't my secret got out. It's bigger and colder than that. It's my private life is just material they pass around. There is nowhere in this house that belongs only to me. Not even the thing I beg them to hold. And they'll never tell you they heard. No fight, no leak you can trace. Just a kid who filed it and said nothing. So now let's stop and name the thing that's been standing behind all the three rings, because it was never really about which room you sat in. It was always about this. Your kid heard it, and your kid will almost never tell you. That's the first half, and it's the cruel half. Because there's no confrontation, no leak you can trace, nothing to catch and fix. The damage goes underground. You don't get to repair it because you never find out it happened. You just go on for years not knowing the floor has a crack in it. The worst wound isn't the one they scream about. It's the one they never mention. The one you never find out you made. And here's the second half. The math that makes it unbearable. That one overheard line outweighs every single compliment you will ever say to their face. Not by little. It buries them. You can tell your kid they are brilliant 100 times. You can mean it every time. And they will flip back for the rest of their life to the one afternoon they heard, he's got no brain for logic. Through a door when you didn't know they were listening. That one beats the 100. Every time. And you have to understand why, because it's not just that bad news sticks. It's the source. The compliment was said to their face, so it's suspect. That's the thing parents are supposed to say. But the verdict was said when you thought no one could hear. So to your kid, that's the unguarded truth. That's what you really think, leaking out when you didn't mean to be heard. The compliment was to their face, so they discount it. The verdict was overheard, so they believe it. You'll say you're brilliant 100 times. They'll believe the one line they heard through the door years ago. So understand what you are actually up against. You are not competing with your own word sentence on equal terms. Everything you say to their face gets filed as PR. The official statement discounted on arrival. The one thing you said when you thought the room was empty gets filed as fact. You could spend the next 10 years building them up and never move the needle because the verdict was entered when you weren't performing. And to a kid, that's the only evidence that counts. This isn't a door your kid closes for a week. Every one of those rings breaks the same thing: the belief that they are loved and that home is safe. A child runs on one assumption. Every child runs on one assumption: that their parents are the one place in the world that is unconditionally on their side, the safe harbor. And the overheard verdict tells them the harbor has conditions, that the two people who are supposed to love them without question actually think they are stupid or lazy or not worth trusting. And here's what makes it worse than a stranger doing it. A stranger was never supposed to love them. You were. That's why it cuts deeper. It's a belief about being loved that they carry out of your house and into every relationship they ever have, who they trust, how close they let people get, and one day, how they talk about their own kids. And you never see it happen. That's the whole point. It works in the dark. So here's the part that they should give you hope, because the same cruel machine runs both ways. You know now that the words your kid actually believes are the ones you didn't mean for them to hear. The unguarded ones. The ones that slip out when you think the room is empty. We spend this episode treating that as the danger. But turn it over. Flip it. If the overheard words is the one that counts, then the most powerful thing you can ever say about your child is a good one they were never supposed to catch. If the overheard word is the one they believe, then say something good when you think they can't hear. Here's what I mean, and here's what I don't mean. I don't mean staged. I don't mean stand at the bottom of the stairs and project pride at the ceiling. Kids can smell a performance from a mile off. And the second this becomes a technique, it files as PR the same as everything else. Worse, a PR that's trying to manage them. I mean this. When you are on the phone to your sister and you're not certain who's home, let the proud thing out at full volume. You should have seen how she handled it. I was actually really proud of her. When you are talking to your partner and the kid might be in the next room, don't lower your voice for the good stuff the way you instinctively lower it for the bad. Most of us whisper the praise and broadcast the complaints. Just stop doing that. Say the real pride, the way you'd say the real frustration. Like you don't know they're listening, because half of the time you don't. If they don't hear it, no loss. You meant it anyway, but if they do, it lands in the one place nothing you say to their face can reach. It goes in as true, and a true one finally stands a chance against that one bad line they've been carrying. Because for once it arrived through the same door. One rule here, or it curdles. This is never a patch. It's not a nice thing you make sure they overhear right after a fight. So the bad thing won't count. It doesn't cancel a verdict, and it doesn't settle a debt. It's a gift you leave lying around for them to find. And it only works if there's nothing attached to it. Leave the good words lying around where they might find them. Ask for nothing back. They will never tell you they heard a good one either. But say it anyway. Okay, so what else you can actually do? Not this. Never say a hard word about your child again. That's not real. We are human, the kid is generally hard some weeks, and pretending otherwise helps no one. So here's what it's actually doable. 1. Take the real conversation out of the house. You have to talk about your kid as a couple, of course. You're raising them together. You need to worry together, compare notes, work out what to do. Fine, but the unguarded version of that conversation happens where you can actually see that no one is listening. Dinner out, a walk, the car with no one in the back seat, not a kitchen that only feels empty. Take the hard talk out of the building. 2. Vent the day, not the child. We are allowed to offload the event. She slammed the door and I lost it. Today was a war. What you never do is turn it into a ruling on who they are. There's a line, and it's a simple one. We are allowed to be tired of our children. We are not allowed to be on record against them. Being tired is a bad Tuesday. They recover from that. Going on record is a verdict. They don't. 3. Guard what they trust you with. One parent's secret is not pillow talk for the other. If your kid asks you to hold something, you hold it. The only thing that overrides that it's real safety. And even then, they hear it from you to their face first. You tell them that you are going to tell. They never find out by accident from the top of the stairs. The reality is that we will get this wrong. Not might, will. Some week you will be overwhelmed, you'll say the sharp thing, and this time the stairs won't be empty. The floor cracks, and you feel it crack. When you do catch it, and this is the key word, when you catch it, the moment is not the end of the story. It's the most important thing you'll model or the all year, because what a kid needs to see isn't a parent who never sleeps. It's a parent who knows how to come back. So don't double down. Don't explain what they did to deserve it. Don't bury it and hope they forgot. Go to them, look them in the eye, and say the truth thing out loud. I heard what I said. It was unfair, and you didn't deserve to hear me talk about you that way. Don't add, but you had been, you did, you made me. No excuse running in behind the apology. You are overwhelmed, and being overwhelmed is never a license to put your kid on record. You name it, you own it, you do better. There's not weakness in front of your kid. It's the repair that rebuilds the floor, and it teaches them for the rest of their life what to do when they crack someone else's. But the hard truth that ties this whole episode is that you can only repair the slip you catch, and most of them you won't. Most of the time there is no fight, no tell, no chance to fix it, because your kids never let you know it happened. That's exactly why the first 3 aren't optional. Repair is for the cracks you see. Prevention is for the vast majority you never will. You will repair the ones you catch, but they hurt you and they won't tell you. So you have to not say it in the first place. Yeah, so your kid believes home is safe and you are on their side. That belief is the most valuable thing you will ever own, and the most fragile. You'll beat them up to their face for years, and you'll never know which sentence they're actually carrying. The 100 you said you helped them, or the one they caught through a door when you thought no one was around. You'll never know the one they kept. So don't hand them one from the top of the stairs, because they won't forget it. And they won't tell you. They will just build the rest of their life on it or without it.